Welcome to Sonia's Sweet News and Dry Humor. So I also was sent this one, the 5-letter words every parent need to use. Now I don't have no little children anymore, but I still love the babies. Post-traumatic parents may link later to broken promises from their childhood, but we can use it differently. Instead of shutting kids down, it teaches patience, self-control, and emotional regulations. This magic word only works if you keep your word. If not, it's a lie, and we never lie to kids. When you spent years helping children heal, you start to notice something. Certain words hold incredible power. They can soothe, guide, and build resilience in ways we might never expect. So she's a child psychologist, love in the 4-letter word. We wish parents would retire, but today I want to introduce you to a simple 5-letter word that might just transform your parenting. That word is later. Why post-traumatic parents struggle with later? For many parents, later is a simple, neutral word. But for post-traumatic parents, those of us who carry the scars of childhood wounds, later can feel like a load. If we grew up in a home where your needs were dismissed, where later meant never, or where asking for something led to anger or rejection, then you might find yourself struggling to use this word with your own children. Post-traumatic parents often parent with an unspoken promise to our kids. I will never make you feel that way, I felt. And that promise, while born from love, can lead to unintentional overcorrection. Saying later might feel wrong because it brings up memories of being ignored or forgotten. It seems like a rejection rather than a reassurance. It feels like a broken promise because in our own childhood, later often meant never. It triggers guilt. We want to prove to our children that their needs matter. But when used correctly, later does dismiss a child's need. It teaches patience, emotional regulation, and trust. How later builds emotional strength? Picture this. Your child asks for a snack 10 minutes before dinner. A hard no might feel like a rejection. Given just to avoid a meltdown might reinforce the idea that patience isn't necessary. Saying you really want a cookie. Now we are going to eat dinner and cookie time will be later. Teach them to wait while acknowledging their requests. Later is a powerful because it builds frustration tolerance. Kids learn that waiting is okay, that discomfort isn't dangerous, and that their needs will be met in time. Teaching delayed gratification. Research shows that children who develop this skill, hello marshmallow test, tend to have better impulse control and success later in life. Keep the connection intact. Unlike a harsh no, later reassures kids that they heard and that their desires matter. Empower parents. We don't have to drop everything to prove our love. We can hold our boundaries while still showing warmth and care. When to use later. Before we get into when to use the word, there's something critical to remember. Later only works if later truly comes. If we say later but don't follow through, it becomes an empty promise. It enrolls trust instead of building it. If you know you won't have time to play later, don't say you will. If you won't be able to buy a toy, don't say you will. Don't suggest making a plan. We never ever lie to our kids. When we use later, it has to mean something. It has to be real. For everyday wants, a child asks for a cookie before dinner. You really want a cookie. Now we're going to eat dinner. And cookie time will be later. And later that cookie actually happens. To manage big emotions in the middle of a meltdown, a child demands a new toy. That toy looks so fun. Right now, we're not buying toys, but we can make a plan for which toy we'll buy next later. Tonight, after dinner, we can figure that out together. And after dinner, you really do sit down and talk about it. To encourage independence. When a child wants help tying their shoe, you're working so hard on tying your shoe. Try a little on your own. Now, and I can show you how later, and later you actually sit down and guide them through it. To protect your only your own energy. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I love playing with you right now. I need to finish my coffee and we'll play later. And